Wow, look at that. That was a professional opening there.
Fucking Scorsese over here putting our shit together.
He put the cameras on us. He was like, an action.
And action.
Hey, man, welcome to Between the Laughs with Carlos Mencia and here Gabe Lopez hanging out with us. He was asking me something interesting. Because we're not home all the time.
Yeah, we're away.
Right?
A lot.
And now I'm way more than you. But you were telling me that when you're at home, doing laundry gives you a sense of peace, tranquility?
That's a great, I don't know. But the point I was trying to make, and I was reading an article on this, what we do, there is no physical product. We make people laugh, and then we move on to the next city and make people laugh, but there's no physical thing. So, like in my case, when I'm home, I enjoy doing laundry. I enjoy separating the piles, putting the load in the washer, and then putting it in the dryer, and then folding it up because I actually see the finished product of my work.
Right.
I saw it, I started it, I finished it, I completed it, and the big part is the completion.
Right.
You actually finish the project that you started.
Right.
So and I was reading an article about that, and there's more gratification from finishing cleaning than there is from sitting at a beach or playing with puppies. So it was an article I was reading that I found really fascinating. There is more personal gratification from cleaning than anything else. And they tested brainwaves on that. I'm like, okay, this makes a lot of sense because I know how I feel accomplished when I finish doing a load of laundry.
It totally makes sense, bro. And it's, I mean, think about this. It's you, for me, right? From what I gathered just by being a human being, the people that I find the happiest, right? Well, first of all, they were in Honduras, right? They're the happiest people right up until we built a road that kind of introduced the world to them.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how I feel about this because, okay, so here's what happened. I used to go to Honduras to a place where it's like remote. So remote that if you landed there, you literally had to fly around 3 times to scare the cows off the field. Okay? Like literally, like you would do flyby, and then the cows would go, and then one idiot would be like, what? And then you'd have to do it again, and then it would go. And you would land on a literal field of grass.
Got it.
But if not, you could fly down to this place called Palacios that had a pretty big runway. It was still grass, but it was a big, big runway. And then you would take a canoe, a literal canoe that you call tuk-tuks, all right? Because tuk-tuks are those little hand poles, and they go tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk. Have you ever seen those movies with the tuk-tuk-tuk?
Yeah.
So they call them tuk-tuks, and they go tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk-tuk. And you would literally hollow out a big tree, as big as you go get a big one, see what it is.
Like we were making a canoe.
Yeah, get like a 12 horsepower little, tuk-tuk, and you would build it, put the hole in it, the whole thing. And it would take about 6 hours to go from there to the house. Anyway, when it was really difficult to get there, everybody, and there was no electricity, no television, no anything, except for radio, everybody was happy. They were really happy, bro. But I think part of it was what you were saying. Their lives revolved around accomplishing goals, right? I'm going to go cut down 2 acres. I only need 1/8 of that for myself.
Yeah.
The rest I'm going to sell. Then I'm going to do 2 acres over here, but of rice instead of beans. And then you would go and you would do that. And that was like, a few weeks of intense labor, continuous every day.
Yeah.
Then once it was planted, just wait.
Yeah.
Go visit it every week. Make sure there's no, animals eating it. You don't put a scarecrow, blah, 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 whatever it is. But they were really happy, bro. They were very, very happy people. They were the kind of people that if they had a cup of coffee and that was their last little thing of coffee, they would offer it to you. No guilt. No, they wouldn't say stuff like, well, this is my last cup of coffee, but you can have it. Nothing like that, bro. You would find out later that was like, somebody would say like, hey, this kid came and he got a bunch of coffee. I was like, wait, I just had, that was their last thing of coffee.
Yeah.
No way, they gave me that. Oh my God, that's not cool. So then we had a store. So I would send them a big bag of coffee. It's like, thank you, whatever. Anyway, they were very happy until my dad built a road that could accommodate pickup trucks. And once pickup trucks started coming in and going out and coming in and going out, all of a sudden people wanted more things.
Easier access to civilization.
Could we have a satellite dish? Could we have a television? Could we have electricity? Could we have phones? Could we? And all of that, bro.
But it becomes not enough.
Exactly.
That's the issue. It becomes not enough.
That's what it is. It was because at first, yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Because when I was there, dude, I was never ever angry about not eating. Yeah. Dude, I've told this before. When I was living in Honduras, when I was a kid, I would go there, spend a summer there. Then I spent a year there when I was 10, and then I spent 3 years there from 12 to 15 years old. But those times when I spent there, I mean, I never, you know what I mean? Yeah. I never thought, oh my God, in America we could eat this, and that.
You never wanted.
No, dude. I loved going to the sugarcane fields with a machete and peeling them and just sucking on it, bro. Just sucking on sugarcane, bro. Sucking on sugarcane and then getting actual, like, I don't know if you know, but the cocos that they make, cocos that they make chocolate out of, before you dry them up, dude, they have this like pasty, sugary. Yeah. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. We would just eat and eat and eat, and you can't eat enough because and they don't go to waste, but that paste goes to waste because you got to put it out in the sun, and then the sun kind of burns it, and that's when you can get the cocoa on the inside out. Yeah. We used to eat that stuff. We used to eat guayabas, guanabanos. I mean, bananas, bro, straight out the thing.
I remember sitting in plum trees, and we're in the tree just grabbing them and eating them, grabbing them and eating until we got her full. And
dude, got her filled. Oranges, bro. Yeah. And my dad and these other people did hybrids. So they were juicy and sweet, like tangerines mixed with oranges. On the other hand, I didn't eat enough iron for I don't know how long that I was literally eating out of the side of the mountain because I needed that iron from the dirt that I was eating. But I never felt like I never wanted to come back. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It was really cool. Yeah, they didn't have cars. They didn't have all the luxuries. But it was just fun there being a kid. And I told my dad, too. I go, Dad, do you really want to build a road? Like, this place is perfect. These people are happy. And my dad was like, but mijo, they deserve to have. I go, it's not that. It's that once you introduce that into this world, it's what you said. They're not going to be happy anymore. And it became that. It became, why can't I have? Why can't I have? I need. I don't have enough.
It goes from I have everything I need to what do I want next? And it's a horrible step.
Right.
And because, when you don't know anything else exists and everybody's just helping each other out in a small village and we all know each other and we all watch out for each other. Yeah. People don't realize what a great life that is.
It was beautiful, bro. It was perfect. And I haven't gone back in a long time because of that. I just didn't. But going back to what you were talking about, in America specifically, when you measure happiness, the richer people are, the less happy they are.
Absolutely.
And so what you're saying makes sense to me because the happiest people, dude, that I met are like the day laborers, the guys that come, not the grass cutters, by the way, because I think that the redundancy of their job, even though they have you know what I mean? Yeah. They come, they have this, and by the time they leave, they accomplish their goal. But it's just the same houses over and over again. It's
Groundhog Day, so it's not the same gratification.
Yeah, but dude, all of the people that come to my house that are handymen, that those kinds of guys that like come in and they're like, so what's wrong? What do you need today? Yeah. And I go, we had a leak over here, we had a hole, so like take out that much and then look and see, and then you could patch it up, and then okay, and then and then my pool over here has a leak, so we gotta go underneath. Oh yeah, those guys, bro,
because it's a new challenge.
Every so happy, and I envy them, dude. Remember when you and I were driving, and we were out like in the middle, and I told you, I go, dude, sometimes I look at a house like a ranch in the middle of nowhere, and I told you, there are times where I wish I had that life. Yeah. Because that life is so beautiful and happy. It's so
Peaceful
content and peaceful, and you know what you want. You know what you get. Like, what people don't understand is, as we speak right now, we have no idea how this is being received. No idea if people like it. No idea if
We're in
people
a room.
listen to it.
We don't know if nobody's listening to it. We don't know if 1 million people are listening to it.
Yeah.
No clue.
People right now could be going, oh my God, this is a great conversation. If people right now could be going, what the fuck are they talking about? No clue whatsoever. And then once we're done here, we're going to kind of go into regular people mode. We're going to have something to eat. And then we're going to go to a show with a bunch of people we've never met. We have no idea what they're going to become. You have no idea if they're a sensitive crowd, a good crowd. You have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
And no matter how good we do tonight, no matter how amazing our show is, we literally have to forget it. And thank God we only have one show. But dude, on multiple show nights,
Yeah, those are hard.
bro, the ones that used to get to me, and Albert never understood this, right? Because whenever I do 3 show nights, the third show just becomes dick jokes. It's just men and women, and this is why we have sex, but this is why this is this, and it just becomes that. But it's because he never understood. It's like, dude, it takes it out of me to do that.
It's draining. You get to that third
Yes.
show, on third show, because you're selling so well, let's add a show.
Yes.
Yeah. It is draining
Yes.
on your brain.
It's especially my kind of comedy, right? Because I'm not just up there telling jokes. I'm just like, when they don't react, I'm like, oh, you need this, and I gotta be president. Oh, you're a little sensitive. Let me come to this place. Oh, you're okay for this joke, but not that joke. Let me put this joke here. Because I gotta get you from here to there. Oh, that guy's hurt feelings. Why are your feelings hurt? Let me come back. That wasn't my intent. Let me try to. Oh, now you get it. Okay, let's move on, dude. You do that once, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, woo. Then it's like, okay, the 9 o'clock show, and you do it again, and now it's different, and you got to deal with difference. And then by the third show, they're already a little drunk.
Yeah.
They're already a little boisterous.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, dude, I'm still doing dick jokes.
Yeah, if you got to give into it. We have to go with where the wave takes us.
Yeah.
And if the 7 o'clock crowd is the intelligent, sober crowd, and,
Right.
and the middle 9 o'clock show is they're just coming from dinner, got a few glasses of wine in them,
Yeah.
and then there's the 11 o'clock show where these fuckers already have shots in them.
Yeah.
And everything is its own project, and we need to adapt to that.
Yeah. And it takes a
And
lot.
it's draining.
It takes a lot of energy to do that. But at the end of the day, think about that. On those show nights, get a standing ovation on the first show, sign autographs, second show starts. I don't even remember that show.
That show doesn't even exist anymore.
Doesn't even exist. Not even in the zeitgeist,
Yeah.
bro. Think about that. Then you do another show, get another standing ovation. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. And then you do a dick joke. Well, I do a show of dick jokes, and it kills, but I know that I didn't give them that show.
Yeah.
I know they laughed.
It wasn't gratifying after.
I know yes, because part of me is going, hey, you guys got cheated. They have no idea. And even they might be like, no, dude, we love this show. It's like, I know, but I feel like I just gave you, I feel like I gave them a 4 or 5 course meal with a steak and this and that. And you guys got cotton candy.
You got late night Jack in the
You
Box
got-
is what you guys got.
You got mustard tacos
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? Like shit like that. But we don't get to, you're right. Because I have to meditate sometimes. And then sometimes I have to remind myself of the good shows and the fun shows. And like last night's show was probably the best show we've done at Jimmy Kimmel so far. And I don't want to forget it, but you can't live in it. But so I'm going to, in a week or so, I'm going to take a time and kind of go, okay, remember that show, remember that other show, remember this, and kind of put it in perspective and go, okay. And then I got to forget it again because we don't have that. But, dude, we have a guy. His name is Manny. He's our handyman. So we call him Handy Manny, dude.
Manny.
He's
Love
Handy
it.
Manny.
Love it.
He is Handy Manny, bro. And Handy Manny has the accent like Handy Manny. And he comes to the house happy, dude. And we tell him to do this, and that's different, and that's different, and that's different. And he's always happy, and I envy him so much, bro. And I think that it's because of what you're saying. And I've always wondered why I got a sense of pride from doing stuff like that. Like, dude, I swear to God, bro, and I'm thinking about this, it's so vivid. I remember, and this was right when Mencia hit, so in 2004, and the show was airing. It was barely airing, and I had a show in Corpus Christi. So I had to get the last flight out, and when I landed in Dallas-Fort Worth, the plane to Corpus was canceled, and it was gonna fly out the next morning, but by the time I got there, it was gonna be 10 o'clock. And at that time, morning radio was vital. All right, morning radio was Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, all put together. All put together, all right? So I go, you know what? I gotta sell out this show, and people gotta come out. And I knew that me going on the show was gonna take it over the top. So I rented a car, and I drove, I don't know, it's like 4 to 5 hours or something like that. Anyway, I left at midnight. I think I got there about almost 6 o'clock. I slept in the car.
At the radio station?
At the radio station, bro, till 7 o'clock in the morning for an hour and a half. And, dude, the sense of pride that I had, I was by myself. Nobody was there with me.
Did it yourself. And
drove by myself, did the whole thing by myself. Bro, I felt such a sense of pride. I felt like, man, this is a feeling that I love. I did this, and I'm not bitching or complaining about it. It's something that I want to do. And I wish that there were other people there, and I was like, no, this is my moment. Yeah. I did this. I feel good that I drove. I didn't complain. I got here on time, and I'm going to go on. And I went on, and we were completely sold out, and it was amazing. But that, bro, making that move of going, okay, what am I going to do? You know what? Yeah. I'm going to get a car, and I'm going to drive those hours, and I'm going to go all the way down, and I'm going to make this happen. And, dude, those are little moments that bring me a sense of real joy, bro. Real happiness.
Well, there are other comics and entertainers that will just make the excuse, well, I missed it, I'm stuck, I couldn't do morning radio. You and I both know these people.
Right.
And so let the chips fall where they may. Where they could have found a solution the way you found a solution. I'm going to rent a car, and I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm going to make it there. I will be there. I won't touch a hotel tonight. I'm going to sleep in the car and get this shit done.
Yeah, but there's a sense, like you said, there's a sense of accomplishment, bro. The other day, I hadn't been in my closet. I have a big walk-in closet, and I've been in there a while just because, I don't know. I made this other part of the house like my closet that's not in the closet. Anyway, it's weird, but whatever. I hadn't been in there. And the other day I went in there, and there was so much like dust and dirt. I just grabbed all the clothes, bro, and threw them on the floor, and cleaned all the shelves and dusted all the stuff, and then got all my clothes and put them in a pile. And I was like, all right, I got to dry these because they had the little line.
Yeah.
All the shirts that were hanging had the little brown line and thing, and so I just went, okay, I'm going to spend all day. We got 2 washers and 2 dryers. I'm going to spend all day washing all these clothes. And I did it. And by the end of the night, bro, it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And Amy's like, come to sleep. And I'm like, no, I got to finish.
I'm almost done.
And I finished it. And, bro, I couldn't go to sleep. I was so proud of myself. And I didn't care. Like, I don't share this with the world. Like, this isn't. Maybe I should share this on social media. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe these are things that I should be like, hey, man, I just did this, and look, and I feel good about myself. But I don't know, that just feels like arrogant to me.
I don't know, like for me, it's a personal thing like it was for you. Like,
yeah.
And I think I got my thing, like with the laundry, from my dad. Because my dad was not into the idea of me doing stand-up. That wasn't real work. This isn't real work. But my dad was a contractor, and as a kid, my dad would take me to work, especially on summers. I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and he's dragging me to wherever. And with the contractor life, it is anything and everything. We got to get up early because we're doing concrete, and we got to get there early, and let's get this thing down and get the rocks down, and we got to flat. But you see what you did, and then okay, today is drywall, and we're gonna lay drywall in this living room today, and you see the finished product at the end of the day, and you see what you did. So, from cabinets to roofing to so you name it, stucco on the outside, texture on the inside. Today we're installing toilets. Okay, tomorrow it's light fixtures.
Right.
And shit like that. But every day my dad had that. I saw the satisfaction of, I did this. I did all of this here.
Yeah.
And I wonder still to this day if that's part. I should probably ask him about that. If that might be part of why he thought stand-up wasn't a real job, because he had a real job.
I think that part of it, because my experience with my parents was the same, in the sense that they didn't really understand what do you mean you tell jokes, like what are you talking about? Oh, like my mother literally said this to me. Well, what you do, mijo, is you have to get a job, and then when you have your job, like people are funny at their job. There's always somebody funny at that job. You could be the guy. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, I don't want to be the funny guy at whatever company I'm going to work for with this electrical engineering degree.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. No, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. Thank God. I mean, I told you a story, right, about how when my mom didn't get it and all that. And then inevitably, she sees me win Star Search in Spanish. And she was on Univision.
Being interviewed.
And then, bro, this is what happened. Mijo, it went from, mijo, what are you doing with your life? It's not, you know what I mean? To seeing me, to me being on TV, then to me being on Univision, specifically in Spanish television. And then my mother going, mijo, when are you going to make enough money to move us out? Because today I went over there and everybody was telling me, look, your son is on TV. He must be doing really well and he must be making money. But we still live in the projects, mijo. I mean, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my fucking God.
But this passive aggressive innocence that she had, well, I don't know. I'm going to ask mijo if you'll take me away from all of this.
This Catholic guilt, bro. It was so in my face. And I was almost like, you told me not to do this. Now you want me to take proceeds from, but she thought, like, if you're on TV, you're a millionaire.
Oh, they're instant $1 million checks if you're on TV for 5 seconds, obviously.
Right. She's not understanding that you get, I mean, it depends. Sometimes you get $500.
Yeah.
Back then you could get $280 for appearance, something. It wasn't like.
And what is Spanish Star Search paying back in those days?
Dude, let me put it to you this way, bro. I didn't even get the shit that that was advertised that I was gonna get.
Wow.
Right? Like, you know how they advertise? They go, and the winners of today will blah 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 blah. No, bro, none of that. I kept asking for the watch because I was supposed to get a swatch. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Watches back in the day, and I wanted it. Never got my goddamn swatch, bro. Never got any of that stuff. Nope.
No Spanish Star Search swatch watch.
Nothing nice. All I got was my mother's guilt that everybody in the neighborhood was like, mijo, you have to get us out. It's embarrassing now that you're on TV. And I was like, what the fuck is this? My father, on the other hand, he never told me, you know what I mean, be proud of your accomplishments.
Mine neither.
Right? But when he would send me to do something and I did it well, the look on his face of approval, of that's my son, of you did it right, was, dude, I want to cry. That right there, bro, is such a huge driving force for me in my life.
Yeah.
Because that dude was, he accomplished so much in his life. And he would just tell me, like, mijo, I need you to go do this. And I was like, I've never done that, Dad. How do you, like, tighten up barbed wire, fences? Because what happens after a while with barbed wire fences, you get, like, because the way we did it is we planted trees, right? We planted trees every about 12 feet, right? You plant a tree, and then that tree, and then you just nail the barbed wire, 3 strands of barbed wire to the tree. That way you don't have posts. You have living trees that they're going to be there for decades, as opposed to if you go and you chop actual trees down and cut them up and put them in, blocks and then put those in.
Yeah.
Those will last, but with the rain and all that in Honduras, not forever. But every once in a while, a tree would like begin to eat up the barbed wire, and then it would split. And so now you have to get a piece of barbed wire and connect it to this one and loop it, but in this cool way that it stays still. And then you got to loop this other one, and then you got to put like a tourniquet in it, and tighten it, and then you got to put like what's called a grampa, and it's nails, but they're just like a U, and they're pointing on each side.
Yeah.
And you just put them right there, and you go ping, 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 and then it drives them into the wood.
Yeah.
And there's all these ways of doing it. You go and you chop down like a slingshot type of thing, and then you get the barbed wire and you turn it, you put it, and then you pull it like this, tighten it up, boom, boom, and then you just but just doing that and knowing that I could do that, and having my dad come and hit it, because it has to sound a little bit like a guitar.
Yeah.
You go boom. And then my dad would be like, "You see that sound?
Oh, that's quality control."
Yeah, dude. He's coming in and checking my shit. And I'm like a little kid in the back, like, I did it right? I did it right, Daddy. I did it right. Like, I'm so happy, dude, that he didn't. And then when I didn't do it right, he would come over, because he was always watching. He was always somewhere. And he would tell me, no, mijo. Si lo haces así, eso lo va a pasar. Like, if you do it this way, this is what's going to happen. And then he'd show me. He goes, watch, I'll show you. And we would do it the wrong way. And then he goes, let it go, ping, and it would go. You see? Sometimes it's too tight.
That was experience. Like, that was, he's failed many times before that he's trying to prevent you.
Exactly, bro. And I am one of those guys. I'm a weird individual this way, because I haven't met many people like me, in the sense that I'm the guy that you say, don't go in that room. Okay. You don't have to tell me why.
Yeah.
You want to know why? No. Don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I was at one of those parties that if I had stayed, I'd probably have a lot of shit to say, or I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
And my buddy was like, dude, I know you. Leave at 1. Just don't stay after 1. Just trust me on this one. And I left, bro. I left at 1, dude. I didn't care to see anybody.
Yeah.
There was no interest in me in seeing some celebrity blow another celebrity or whatever. That guy's not gay. Oh my God. No, don't care. Don't want to know. Don't even want that information in my head, bro. Maybe I've seen too many movies of the guy that knew too much. You know what I mean? That movie where they're like, "No, I'm gonna have to kill you." You know that? I think that way, but I'm just, when my dad would say, don't do that, because it's gonna happen, I would be like, okay. And sometimes I'd be like, well, will you show me like how it's gonna work? Because I kind of visually want to see why it doesn't work. But most of the time I would just be like, okay, so what's the right way to do it? Didn't have to go back. And it's funny, because when I started doing therapy, I had seen many movies about therapy, and the movies that I'd seen about therapy always kind of went back to the trauma. Like, what's the trauma that led to you being this way?
Yeah.
What's the trauma that led you to get here? What's the thing that your mother did? Oh, you're a stripper. Did your uncle? What? Like, how did you get here? Type thing. And I remember that I thought that's what therapy was for everybody. And I remember I had this feeling, this thing that I was going through, and I said to my guy, my therapist, I go, hey, doc, so do we need to figure out, like, where this trauma comes from? And he goes, if you want, we can dig into what happened to make you kind of want to feel or react this way. He goes, or we can just work on you changing, because you don't want to do that anymore. We don't literally have to go back if you don't want to. Yeah. There's nothing in it.
We don't need to open those doors.
No, you don't.
We can just progress.
Yeah, you can just literally say, okay, however I got. He goes, imagine you got lost. And right now, you're in a place where you know where you're at and you know where you want to go. Do you really want to backtrack and find out how you got lost? Is that important at all? And I'm like,
it's a great point.
No, not really. All I care about is, changing myself to the future.
Yeah.
Changing what this was. He goes, well, then let's do that. And so that was that was different for me. It was different because I thought that it was this other way, but I'm like that. And for me, it was easy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, we don't have to go back there? Well, fuck me,
Yeah.
dude. No, let's just
Yeah.
change. This is what I want.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here for. Let's move forward. I think that we don't have enough of this for our kids. Enough of these moments for our kids. And I don't know, dude.
Are you saying like a sense of accomplishment?
Look at what you're saying. Look at the stories that we're saying,
Yeah.
right? You're talking about your dad,
Yeah.
and he took you here, and he did that,
Yeah.
and you had to do this, and you had to do the rocks, and I'm over here telling you, and my dad did this, and he took me to the bar bar, and he took me this, right? All of those moments not only formed us as children, right? Gave us a sense of work ethic, a sense of pride,
Yeah.
a sense of doing a good job. But we had those moments. Imagine if you had a kid, right? What's that kid gonna do? How, like me, for example, I'm not gonna make my kid, cut the grass in the house because it's a huge yard and it's a big commitment, and I'd much rather him read a book. I'd much rather him, engage in robotics. I'd much rather him engage in his intellect, right? I'm much rather have him engaged in his brain shit.
Understood, but don't you think you're taking something away from them?
Yes, that's my point. That's my point. That I kind of fucked up a little bit
That sense
way.
of manual labor, because that is still a part of life. I don't care how many books you read.
Yeah. It's just so, dude, it's so fucking awkward sometimes, especially with Lucas. Because I'll say to Lucas, all right, Lucas, I need you to go. There's about 2 inches thick of foliage inside the little place where the pool equipment is. So here's the easiest thing to do. Get the leaf blower, put it on low, point it at the corner. It's going to blow everything toward one corner. Then scoop it up, throw it out. Then do it again on the other corner, scoop it up. And then once you've pretty much done that, then you kind of just go in with the little broom and get all the stuff out. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do it, Dad. And all of a sudden I see him in his fucking chanclas, bro. He's in his goddamn flip-flops. And I'm like, oh, no, dude, you're working. What, Dad, it's okay. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to do this, and then the leaves are going to get stuck between your feet and the thing, and then you're going to, no, Dad, it's going to be okay. And then, dude, literally 3 minutes later, he's coming in. Dad, man, all these leaves are, oh my God. Like, you're working. Oh my God. And their ability, so rest in peace. It's this joke, right? It's this joke that that used to be told, and it was basically like how when it comes to me telling my son stuff, he doesn't get it. I'll literally tell him to do something on the computer that he spends more time on than I do, bro. And he's like, I don't know how to do it. I don't, how do you do this, Dad? And I'm like, you do shit like this every day. They don't know how to do any of this stuff, and I help them, and it's like, oh my God. So now I literally have old shoes that we put right outside the garage door.
The work shoes?
Those are his work shoes, bro. So that now he can figure it out. Like, hey, go do this. No, that's not in the purview of these guys. Go get this and get this out. Go get the rake and get this out. We're going to put this. And now I'm like, trying to balance it out a little bit more. And he has chores, and he's always had chores. But some kids don't get that sense of pride. He's not.
And you learn things over time, and like manual labor. Like you and I were lucky enough to have fathers that forced us to do that.
But think about what you just said, bro. Think about what you just said. You just said you and I are lucky that we had dads that made us work with our hands. That's not some shit that's said today, bro. You know what I mean?
And that's a big concern. Now, there's minor shining lights. Like, if you needed to change your disposal on your sink in your kitchen.
Yeah.
I never learned that. However, there's now there's things like YouTube that can teach me, and I want to do this. I will do this by myself. And then there's this great guy, I forget his name, but I would love to shout him out. He created videos on YouTube for boys that were becoming men that didn't grow up with their dad. And his sole point is stuff like learning to iron a shirt, learning how to tie a tie, you know, how to match slacks with socks and dress shoes, stuff like that.
Right.
And this guy's just a godsend, and it's something that he just does for all these kids, all these teenagers that maybe didn't grow up with a dad, and their mom doesn't know how to tie a tie.
Right.
The mom doesn't know how to iron a shirt. You know, it's just basic stuff like that I do on a daily basis.
Right.
And you know, because my mom would never let my dad leave the house with wrinkles, and I've told you this before.
Right.
So I iron my T-shirts, man, before I leave the house. There's always starch in my house, and as Mexican stereotype as that is, I like the creases on my dress shirts. I like to know that I am the sharpest one in that fucking room when I walk in.
Sure.
And there is a sense of pride that my mom, you are not leaving the house.
Yeah.
My sisters, I have 4 sisters, and if their hair was a little off, nope, you're not leaving the house like that. Fuck that. Nope. Let's take care of that right now, or you're not leaving the house.
Right.
And my mom instilled that sense of pride when you leave the house. So when I see people in public at McDonald's in their fucking pajamas or in their fucking Crocs, that just disgusts me. I'm like, have a little pride in yourself.
I know, but aren't you a little jealous, bro?
Not one bit. Not one bit, because the
comfort of, like, could you imagine flying in pajamas, bro?
Oh, fuck them. No. My mindset is, what if there's a pretty girl that walks into McDonald's,
right?
And let's say they're identical twins, and both of them are equal hot. One of them is pajamas and Crocs, and the other one is very well kept in a dress, jeans, a nice outfit.
Right.
Who gets more attention? For me, the one that's well kept.
Right.
I give a fuck about the one in pajamas and Crocs and didn't do your hair. And
see, I'm different than you.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, one of them is bangable and the other one is too hard.
Yeah.
You know, the one in pajamas, bro,
Yeah.
she's ready to go. In my head, at that age, I would have been like, oh, she's fucking.
Oh,
for
like,
sure. This one over here, I gotta take her here. I gotta give her that.
The well-dressed one in my mind is more unattainable. I want people to have that perspective of me when I walk in the room.
Right.
I don't want strangers just talking to me.
Right.
I produce shows where people are trying to talk to me.
Right.
And if I look intimidating, fucking great.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Right. No, I get it. I'm just that. So my 8-year-old, Nicholas, you know, when I ask him to do something, he has a sense of pride. Like he'll go and he'll go, all right, Dad, I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. What do you mean? And then I'll go and I'll say, well, do this, that, and go, got it, found it. He'll come over with a big smile on his face, like, hey, Dad, did it, Dad.
But
and
stuff
I'll
like,
say, go ahead.
But stuff like taking the trash out at a young age, or vacuuming your room and make sure you have stripes, just to give them a challenge, you know, just to give those clean stripes on the carpet in your room. Just
the little V.
Exactly.
That V that you get, right? The pattern that goes,
you start instilling that sense of pride because you physically see the fruits of your labor.
Correct.
Stuff like that just...
Yeah, that's the stuff that I don't think that you know what? I was letting Lucas, my older one, kind of find his way. But then recently I'm like, all right, you need some pushing.
No, you need to still give him some direction. It's one thing, yeah.
Oh, no, I always give him direction.
I think there's a balance.
Correct. But sometimes you got to lead them, sometimes you got to walk with them, and sometimes you got to push them.
Yeah.
Those are three different ones.
Just need to figure it out.
Right.
Figure it out, son.
Right. Whereas to Nicholas, he's just gets. And then, like, here's an example. I'll say, Lucas, you know what? It's 9:00. I'm probably going to go to sleep at 11. Go downstairs and give me a glass of milk and 2 of those shortbread cookies. And then all of a sudden, Nicholas is coming up all with a smile. Dad, I walk up to Lucas. I'm like, dude, what do you... I asked you... Yeah, but he loves doing that, Dad. I know he does.
He's not your assistant.
I could have... Yeah, he treats him like a fucking assistant. And just because he's happy, but that makes him happy. Yeah, but that should make you happy. That's the whole point of me asking you to do it. Is so that you can have that face, dickhead. That's the whole point. But he's one of those kids that he's finding what makes him happy. And he's finding... And what I found with him was that he recently just realized that he does feel good when he accomplishes things. It's just that there was a fear of not accomplishing, right? Like I've always told him, dude, if a B is the best that you can get, that's fine. I don't mind a B. I don't mind whatever grade you get, as long as that's the best. What I do mind is when I see a B and you go, you know, I mean, I could have got an A. The fuck? What?
Then why didn't you?
What? I'm busting my ass, right? Trying to overcome this fucking hate that I've been getting on the internet for decades of literal incessantly people telling everybody that my art is shit, that it's not worthy, that it's stolen, that it's fake, that it's, you know, all these words. And I'm just working through this and going through it. And you've seen it. You've lived it with me.
Witness.
And this little shit is like, well, I could have done better. Oh, my God.
I really half-assed this year, Dad. I'm not going to lie to you.
Dude, I just, yeah, that is something that I don't understand. But it goes back to what you said. You know, when my dad took me to see his work at Zaki Farms and Foster Farms and picking up all those guts and smelling the way he did and coming home, no matter how much, because they used to, remember that soap called Lava?
Oh yeah, we had it at the house.
So my dad,
the mechanic soap,
right? The mechanic soap. So he smelled like that mixed with, I don't know what this thing is. It was white. It was gelatinous, and it looked kind of like a lard, but it was more silicone-y. And
was it the hand cleaner?
When we worked on cars,
I remember this stuff.
And it would clean everything.
This shit was amazing,
perfectly, except for the inside of your fucking nails. Yeah. Remember, you'd have that little black line in here, and it was so hard to get out. And then you had to get those pads that had the stiff things to get those out. Yeah. And then you got a lava clean.
Yeah.
So my dad always smelled of those things all kind of mixed together.
But how memorable are those scents in your head?
Dude, I swear to God, bro, I drove by Bandini, and there's still a couple of places there that do what my dad's company used to do. And I smelled it, bro, and it was disgusting. It smelled exactly as shitty as it used to, but I lowered the windows, bro, and I took it in, bro, and I was like that guy in a movie on a motorcycle going 50 miles an hour, just hands off the handlebars, wind hitting my face with nothing, just cruising and letting life hit me. It was amazing,
because it was that Ratatouille moment. You had this flashback. Like, I remember being 8, 9 years old, and my dad would get home from work, and I'd run to hug him, and he smelled like old Speed Stick and sweat and wood, and it was just this wonderful combination that I promise you, I'll go to Home Depot, and I'll walk through it, and there's different smells throughout Home Depot, from the wood section to the drywall section and through the paint section. The texture section all has its own specific sense that gives me that happy nostalgia that I hated when my dad forced me to do it, and now you miss it.
Miss it. And you know what's funny is, like, I had a very interesting moment. So when you texted me that you were going to show up, I was in the middle of, so tomorrow I start, and what I wanted to do was, I used to do these little short videos. You know, I'll go on, and I have these services that I can, you know, download their music and use it for free because I'm paying for it. So I'll get a beat, you know what I mean? And then when I get a beat that I find, oh, wow, this is cool, I go, okay, how am I going to sing it or rap it? And it's basically like, I'm coming to the DLC, or something like that, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And so I found one last night or yesterday during the day. And then I did the music to it. It's kind of rappy, and then you got to run through a lot of filters and do the stuff so it sounds decent. But then I was like, how am I going to shoot this video? Like, what am I going to do? I don't have time, and I want it to go, and we got to do this, and I don't have time afterwards. So I have this program that allows you to shoot kind of like in green screen, and I did it. But there, you heard me. There were a couple of frames where it didn't do it perfect, and I was like, ah. So it's this weird feeling right now. Is my point. So what I'm getting to is, I feel a sense of pride that I got it done.
Okay.
I did it. It's out. But I'm disappointed that it's not as good as I want it to be. And when I post it, I'm probably going to say something like, I know they'll get better, I promise. Does that make sense?
So you sound like, I could have done better, Dad, but I settled for the B.
Except it was a time crunch.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't, like, I can't do better than this, is the thing. Like, I can tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me till tomorrow, yeah, I could go literally shoot it on a green screen and there will be no problems whatsoever, or shoot it on a backdrop, like at my house, that wall that's all white in the sun, and then I could put it in the back. But then, it's not going to be out till tomorrow or something, and I want it out today because I wanted to promote the shows this weekend.
Got it.
So that's what it is. It's the best that I could have done. It's
for the
not
time that you were
for the
allowed.
time that I was allowed. But there is a part of me that realizes that's the best I could do with what I had, right? But it's not a full, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like a full, like, check this shit out. This is the one. Like, watch that. No, that's not there. But it's okay to have those moments, is what I'm trying to say to the people. Because I think that the lack of manual labor, the lack of doing chores, the lack of having chores to do for a lot of middle class, for a lot of kids, you know what I'm saying? That they didn't get, they just saw it. Because we saw those things as negative.
And now,
when we were growing up,
they're at a premium. Actual handymen and people that know how to do shit with their hands are turning work away because they have so much work. They're charging a premium because you don't know how to change a light fixture, and you don't know. It's like, oh, I bought this new chandelier, and okay, well, turn off the power, take it off,
right?
Make sure you match color to color in the ground, and you're fine.
Right.
But there's people that aren't even willing to try.
Right. Yeah. No, I had to change some light fixtures. I put in new light switches that like dimmed, and so you could have a dimmer switch and shit. And then I put it in, and it was working, but it was intermittently working. So then I went in, and I was like, "Why is it?" And this cable was hitting this other cable, so I separated them, and then I had to put. I put this little. There's this foam that you could put that kind of hardens
that
and
separates,
and you can do that, and then you wrap it around with like some black
electrical
tape, and then it worked, and everything was fine, and so I made it work. You know what I mean? And those, when I can do that, that's an accomplishment.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's no art in what we do. That's the shitty part.
Yeah.
That the art blurs that, right? Because if you didn't get a standing ovation, it doesn't mean that they didn't love you to their maximum.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that. It might mean that they don't know that they should, or they don't know that they want to, or you didn't give them enough time, or whatever. Like, whatever. There's little technical stuff. Because I know this. Like, and you know this about me. I get off stage quick. You laughed. We don't need to blow each other at this point.
Yeah.
We don't need to tell each other all this shit. You know what I mean? We know what happened. So I get off. But I do know that if I milk it and I go on stage and go, "Thank you for a great show. You guys were an amazing audience. No, you guys were so good.
We're gonna start standing. We should start. We should stand. We should stand.
Yeah, exactly.
We should all stand.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, standing. Oh God, no. I was not expecting this. Oh, I only fabricated it the whole time in my head. But this is such a shock. So with what we do, the moments that I get are like the moments that I go, you know what? I did want to do videos, and they told me, and I had to do one last week with Crunch Time and one this time with Crunch Time. And next week I have 4 different shows to do. One on Friday, one on Saturday during the day, one on Saturday at night, and one on Sunday. So I'm going to have to do 4 videos for just one weekend.
Wow.
So now I'm like, oh, how's that gonna go down? Oh my God! And so there's gonna be a sense of pride when I finish this.
Yeah, when
I
you
get
see the
this
finished
done,
product.
When I see the finished product, that I put it out there and I go, this is it, and I'm home. So I'm not gonna have the issue of where do I shoot this, because I could just say, hey, let's go to the beach, and I'm gonna shoot this on the beach because this is a beach kind of a feel, and then this is like this kind of a feel, so let's go over here, or whatever the case is. I'll have the time to do it. I'll get up in time. I won't drink. I won't do anything crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that makes me go, oh, I actually did this because last night, instead of doing this, I did this. I came home. I woke up at 9 instead of 11, and these extra 2 hours I get to do this and write. And so doing all of that does bring me today a sense of joy and peace, and like that same kind of feeling that I used to get. But yeah, it's not the same as laundry.
Mowing the lawn.
It's not the same as mowing the lawn.
Washing dishes.
No,
you see the finished product. Just stuff like that.
No, it's not the same as me opening the garage doors and just getting the blower and getting all the stuff that's little by little dusted in and coming out and blowing it out, and then getting the mop and mopping in and putting it all clean, and like at the end there's a sense of like putting your hands on your waist.
Yeah.
Like
I did this.
Yes.
I earned my soda.
Right? And that's when I'll like go, babe, get me a large glass with ice of Coke Zero.
Yeah.
And she'll go, oh, you're going to go out and smoke a cigar in the backyard. Yes.
I earned it today.
I earned it today. There's that sense, and I feel like a lot of people don't get that sense. They get it. I think the youth gets it with that little dopamine drip from playing a video game and hitting that next thing,
level.
Whatever it is. But I don't think that's the same thing. Because, I get it too, right? I play video games on my phone, but nothing I've ever played, no accomplishment I've ever done. Like, I play this game that most of my friends play, and the highest they've ever gotten is like 160,000. I'm at 2 million. Could I get to 3 million? Yeah, I can. But at this point, it's just like, it's not going to bring me a sense of peace or joy to do it, 'cause I know I could do it. It's literally just me putting in the weeks and months of time and not lose until I get to 3 million points. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But this weekend, so in the house, because of the whole situation I told you about with my closet, my hallway has a bunch of my clothes. There's kind of like we made a shelf kind of on the side, and it's a really wide hallway, so it doesn't get in the way. But, the rotation of clothes, the 15 shirts, the 8 pairs of pants, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The 12 pairs of underwear that I rotate to bring on the road, because I'm either going to pack for 2 to 3 days when I come here, or I'm going to pack
for a week
5
almost.
to 6 days if I go from here on the road.
Yeah.
But if I get to come here, then go home, then I can pack for 2 days, go home for a day, and then pack for 3 or 4 days. Whatever the case is, I've left it there because it's right outside the washer and dryer.
Yeah.
So I'll go do that, and then I'll just put them, fold them, get them here, put them in my bag. Everything's cool. But I'm tired of looking at that shit, bro. So I told Lucas this weekend, bro, all this is gone.
Yeah.
Because here's what happened. I started putting my stuff there, and it was just my stuff. Then Amy started putting shit there. Then Lucas started pushing there. And our whole goddamn hallway has a strip of shit on the side
pile of shit
that I started.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be like, nope, taking it away, get it out of here. And then they're going to have to follow suit and do their thing. And look how much I am getting excited. And I guess what we're trying to say is that you people out there need to do this. Seriously.
I just random tips. Like my mom gave me a tip to keep my closet clean. On January 1st, everything that you have hung up that has the hangers going this way, turn everything around so it's coming towards you.
Right.
The reason why, give it till December 31st. Anything that's still pointed toward you, you went the entire year without using it.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good stuff. But, look, my house is huge.
Oh, yeah.
So I have so much stuff to do. So much stuff to do. So much stuff to get rid of. And it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun to do it.
As long as you piece it out. Don't overwhelm yourself. That's the biggest thing. Don't stick to a room.
Right.
I'm going to start with the kitchen and then work on the living room. But you never finish the kitchen, so calm the fuck down.
Yeah, right now I'm going to, because it's simultaneous, because I have to take the clothes and put them in the closet. So I'm going to make sure the closet's ready, and then I'm going to take those clothes and get them and put them in the right place and throw everything away.
Bag them up, donate them, throw them away, whatever.
Get it done, get out of here, we're done, and then by the end of this week,
you're going to be fine.
Those two things will be done. And I'm going to help Lucas get all his stuff out of his once all those things are cleared, and then we're going to clean his carpet, because we have the carpet cleaner. Like, I don't have anybody come to my carpet.
So much fun to use those things.
I have the steamer, the hot carpet cleaner.
Then where you pull it back, sucking all this shit out.
I have it, bro. It is in my thing. And, dude, not just that, but listen, this is what, using that carpet cleaner, and look, it pays for itself if you have a big enough house. If you don't go rent one. But, bro, getting that big-ass tray,
the gallon of
dirty, nasty water, and just pouring it into the toilet is so gratifying, bro. It is so gratifying, because I'm like, look at what I did.
Yeah.
Like, I want to run around the world and go, this used to be my carpet. It's not there anymore. Because I cleaned it. But it does bring me that true sense of joy. But beyond that, I'm happy. And not only that, dude, I'm excited. My blood is flowing. I feel alive. I feel like in the beginning of a fight when fighters are just like, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. I have that sense, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh. I'm not tired. Then
because you reinvigorate yourself. All of a sudden you have all this energy.
Yeah.
Because my dad's big thing is like you earn your shower. And when you earn your shower, that means when you're showering and the dirt's coming off your body because you put in a solid day's work. Yeah. So there's something gratifying after, like, okay, I cleaned out the garage and I'm sweaty as shit and I'm stinky as shit and I earned this shower today.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So here's where I'm at with all of this stuff. So the beautiful thing about being in Honduras, especially when I was between the ages of 12 and 15, when I actually did man work, did male work, where, we didn't have our oven was a fireplace that you literally put, wood in there, and there was a piece of metal on top, and it got hot, and you would cook on that, like the leña that you say we would have to go get it and do all this stuff. Well, it was very rare that we had a complete, full day, so to speak. You would get up at 5 or 6, and we would work till about 3 or 4. You know what I mean? At the most, even if we had stuff to do, because it's not just about work. But the beauty and what I miss here, and now cigars triggered something in me. Right? I'd always wanted to smoke cigars because my dad used to smoke the pipe, and it reminds me of my dad. But Amy was, said, do you really want that? Do you really want to do it in front of the kids? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's not a big deal. Once I started doing the residency, and you guys started doing pre-show cigars, it was over. Yeah. That was like, I told Amy, I'm like, this is going to be a part of my life now. Just get used to it. Just be grateful that I didn't do it for all those years that you didn't want me to do it.
Yeah.
But please don't get on my ass for this. It's just, this is the way things are. But what it's doing for me is, in Honduras, after we would go, like about, I don't know, let me see, 100, 200, about 350-ish yards from our house was a river. And dude, walking over there, hearing the breeze hit the trees, hearing the, you know what I mean? Hearing the parakeets, you know what I mean? Hearing our parakeet talking to the other parakeets. It's just a sense of being in nature.
Yeah,
peace. And then I go and then I like sit at the bank of the river and just, you could hear the water.
You listen to the water.
Just the water going. and oh, and then two beautiful birds fly, and then you go in that water and you soap up and you come out and you go, but that sense of peace and that sense of tranquility, it's hard to get for me in this country because we're surrounded by so much.
Yeah.
Like right now, what are we gonna do? We're hungry. So we're gonna go find a place. I said I wanted Chinese. We're gonna find a Chinese place, but none of that stuff is gonna take us to this peaceful, tranquil place because we don't exist in that world right now. So what I'm trying to find is the substitutes for those moments when I was a kid living there. You know what I mean? So sitting in a lounge with a cigar, that brings me a sense because I kind of ignore all the surroundings. It just kind of becomes me and you and whoever's there and the cigar and the conversation. And when I'm alone, sometimes I'll smoke a cigar, bro, and I've never really done this before. But I'll just sit there, no music, no book, no audios, just me in my backyard, and I could hear the wind a little bit. We got enough foliage there, and for 45 minutes to an hour and 15, bro, I'm just smoking that cigar in silence, just chilling.
Just in your own moment.
Just in my own moment.
Yeah.
Then Nicholas will come and he'll play tetherball by himself, and then he'll take me out of it. Like, Dad, you want to play, Dad? And then I'll go play with him. But it's a different moment.
Yeah.
Now it took me out of this tranquil, peaceful place, and it took me to I'm being a good dad place. They're both very beautiful places.
Oh, yeah.
But they're different. But I'm trying to teach Lucas right now the joy of accomplishing goals, little goals, not the big goals. They don't have to be amazing. So that's why I'm going to do a bunch of work at the house and have him help me out. So that's one of them. And the other one is finding the peace and tranquility in between, after shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, sometimes, and I'm going to start asking for specific rooms because from a certain time to a certain time, it's pretty peaceful seeing the sphere, especially after a certain hour when it becomes the moon. Mm-hmm. It's pretty. I mean, I wish I could smoke a cigar in your room and watch that.
And stare at the moon.
Yeah, dude. But there's a sense of peace that I can kind of get, and I can listen to some transcendental music. You know what I mean? And just kind of look at that moon and kind of go into a Zen place. Yeah. So I'm trying to find those moments in between, but I'm seeking joy. Not pleasure, but joy, more than I ever have consciously before right now. I'm kind of coming full circle. I feel like I've dealing with all the negativity and dealing with the hate and dealing with this and being flowing through it, being superfluous through it. And now I'm just at a place where I'm like, you know what? That's taking care of itself. I dealt with it. I put my energy into it. I want to seek some joy now. Yeah. Not pleasure. That's a different thing. Not that I don't seek it, but it's more about joy, that word. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm feeling it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, bro. That's why I kind of hate having you have to do karaoke because I know that it doesn't bring you joy. But I know that there's this weird part of you that likes being there. It's just this contradiction.
You're right about that. And that's just, I like the connection I have with you. I enjoy when we're together.
And with the audience.
And from a comedy show, great. From karaoke, I'm learning that I'm not the only one that feels like me. So I just started doing my little Instagram lives just to, hey, on today's episode of Gabe Hates Karaoke,
right.
I didn't realize that there were so many people that were on board with me. So now I'm starting to invite them to the show. It's like, hey, if you guys want to come and hate karaoke with me, Mexican candy shots are $5 and let's get drunk together.
Right.
And people are starting to come out. It's the most amazing thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, that's what I mean. There's a part of you that kind of anti-enjoys. Yeah.
I enjoy.
And the connection is awesome, though.
I enjoy listening to the people do their thing. When people try to get me involved, like I don't want to do that. Right. I love being there, and some of these songs, like it just. So nostalgic, songs we haven't heard in years.
I know,
wow,
bro.
Oh my God, totally forgot about that song.
Right.
And they'll see me singing along to the song. Oh, you should be singing. Go fuck yourself. No, I just remember this
song.
song.
They also come hang out with you. They
Yes.
also come and talk to you.
Yeah.
They also come and share with you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll look around and I'm like, who's that dude?
Yeah.
And it's somebody from the crowd that came and connected with you and,
and
talking to you.
had a blast at the show, or there's a song that triggered something, or hey, when I back in Kansas, like, I really enjoyed it. You guys are a breath of fresh air because this style of comedy hasn't existed in years,
Right.
and stuff like that, and I like the impact we're having on people. I really, really, really do.
I do, and I feel it a lot when we do the karaoke. Not through the songs, but through the way people react.
And when they get to sing a duet with you, that's life changing to them. This is not something I ever dreamed of, and I learned about you from my parents, and now I'm 27, and now I'm a Carlos Mencia fan. But now I sang, Ebony and Ivory with Carlos Mencia. I can't wait to tell my parents that this happened.
Well, that guy last night with the long hair, he was just like, bro, dude, man, you're like so cool. You're down, man. You're just a person, bro. You're like a real person. I'm sitting there like,
what else could I have been?
Yeah, like, where's this going? Like, what did you think I was like? You know what I mean?
Well, this song is dedicated to you, Carlos. Exit line.
Right, that guy.
Enter night. Wow.
And I love the fact that people are feeling a bigger connection by just hanging. And if you really look, there's only about a handful of people that want to sing.
Yeah.
Everybody else just wants to watch.
Just wants to hang out.
Dude, it's so weird that there's like that table in the back where like 6 or 8 people always sit there.
It's just an audience.
And they just watch. They just watch.
I connect with them better than anybody else.
I know, bro, but they're having fun. It's the crazy part. They're enjoying themselves. It's so bizarre, dude. It's just about like pleasure and seeking joy. And man, I'm glad you brought this up, bro. I had a whole different idea about what we were going to talk about, but this was perfect. It was awesome. No, because I've told you, like, when something's on your mind, let it go. And I think that we still seek pleasure, but we're seeking it in finding a game or, doing this post or getting likes or getting all this, you know what I mean? Stuff that's not tangible. For all you kids, man, you know what? Do your laundry. Get all your dirty clothes.
It's a start.
Separate them.
There's so many things you can do. Like I was taught, I wanted to get better at reading books. So I started 10 pages at a time. Mm-hmm. But I would religiously read 10 pages a day. And the 10 pages became, okay, well, this is interesting. Let me at least finish a chapter. And it starts slow growth. I still can't finish a whole book in one sitting, but I love reading a chapter at a time now as opposed to committing to the 10 pages. Right. Stuff like that. God, if there's a book I can recommend, read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Oh, my God, that is a life-changing book. And it's a fantasy book based in reality. There you go. Those of you guys that have read it know what I mean. And those of you who haven't and just want to get into it, if you want to get into a first book, that's the one I recommend.
There you go. And we're going to end this there. The Alchemist, Seeking Joy, Simple Pleasures, Do Some Tasks. I remember being proud that when I scrubbed the toilets, they were white. Completely white. Not a little off yellow, not a little thing, not a little spot. I got that old wired thing that had the little loop with the things on it. And back in my days, they didn't have the liquid with the sprout sideways, so you hold it down. No. You had to splash the comet like this.
Oh, the powder.
yeah. But in order to get it into the sides of the toilet, you had to kind of splash it. And then I would clean the tub, bro, and get that line out of it. And by the time I was done, we could cook soup on that. That made me feel like I not only did it, but I did it well. Maybe you should try something like that, and maybe it's gonna make you feel the way it made us feel, and the kind of joy that we expressed talking about handyman and dealing with dads who were, hauling chicken shit their lives.
I want to hear once they watch this, I kind of want to hear what other people do to get out of the mundane. And this feels, I'm sure there's hundreds, thousands of other things people do, and I'm very curious on what people do.
We might have to start doing these live, bro. and then having somebody taking notes and seeing what people say and addressing what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It should be more interactive. You see, as an artist, always trying to find new ways, always trying to find new stuff. Anyway, listen, man, this was myself, Carlos Mencia, and Gabe Lopez, and the book is called
The Alchemist
by
Paulo Coelho.
There you go. And this was Between the Laughs, and if you ain't laughing, you ain't living, baby. Until next time.
See ya.
Peace.